Hi, welcome to the grant decision-making meeting for the North Andover Cultural Council for the 2020-2021 grant applicants. You can watch this recording at northandovercam.org online or on 99 on Comcast and 28 on Verizon, which is the Ed channel. I just want to briefly say we are having this on Google Meet because as of June 9th, 2020, Governor Baker issued an order suspending provisions of the open meeting law to enable public bodies like the North Andover Cultural Council to carry out our responsibilities in terms of public meetings while adhering to public health recommendations regarding social distance. So in summary, we are allowed to have these public meetings remotely because of the updated open meeting law guidance issued by the state of Massachusetts. We have a quorum here of the Cultural Council, and we will be deciding the grant application funding for the 2020-2021 year. So present, I'm just going to say our names, but present, I'm the chairperson of the council. My name is Anna Choi. Other people can introduce themselves.
Okay, I'm Brian Middleton Cox. I am the treasurer.
Brooke, do you want to say something?
This is Brooke Page. I'm a member.
Okay.
Wendy
Stephanie?
Smith, member.
Great. And Stephanie Odd? Stephanie, are you there?
Sorry, I was muted. This is Stephanie Odd. Hi, I'm a new member.
Right, and we have a couple of guests, or at least one guest. Brian, are you still present?
Yes, Brian Howard, director of the North Andover Historical Society.
Okay, and did you want to, I mean, before we start the grant application process or the decision-making process, we'll be working our way through what's called a panel book, which summarizes all the applications. Does Brian Howard, did you want to advocate for yours, or did you want to sit in until we get to your application, which actually is kind of down the list?
Yeah. Actually, I'd like to address the applications as they come up, so I will cede my time now and address these when we get to them.
Okay. All right. Great. So, so generally, Cultural Council, and if anyone on the council disagrees with me, or just feel free to jump in. In general, there are some core applicants that apply every year that we regard as fundamental to the town in terms of how much cultural, cultural availability and cultural influence, or how they enhance the cultural community of North Andover. So I'm wondering whether we could just go through those first as kind of like, let's get those down first. Is that okay with everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. So just moving down that list, that very first page where it says all the titles, I would say the first one would be the summer common shows. Can we fully fund that?
Let me see. Let me just let everybody know also, Anna, that we have $11,253 to give out in grant money, and the total of our applications that we've received is $20,249. So
okay, great.
So anyway, so there's going to be there will be certainly some things that we can't fully fund, but also some things that we may not be able to fund as well, because it's about half.
So I have a broad question about, and this applies to many of the applicants. I do suspect that when summer comes, we may be allowed to have outdoor gatherings, the commons concerts. I could imagine that it would be allowed with like small groups, you sit with your family and wear a mask. But if, for instance, that did not go forward, or any other event-based grant applicant, if their event could not go forward because COVID restrictions did not get to where they wanted them to be, aren't they obligated to spend the money within the year, or what? How does that work?
Oh, okay. This is Anna again. Last year, Massachusetts, the Massachusetts Cultural Council said that we were allowed to extend, events that were supposed to happen in 2020 into 2021. So there were about 6 to 8 funded grants, money that we hand out right away that didn't happen. So they're allowed to extend it into 2021. The same can be applied because it's in our byline, in our guidelines, on our website. The same can be applied for anyone who cannot do their activity in 2021. We can just push it over to the next year.
Okay.
Is that
Great.
helpful? Great.
Yes,
okay.
that's helpful. Yeah.
Right. And in fact, I think we had a slight decrease in applicants this year because a lot of kind of our regular applicants already had the funding from last year but didn't get to do it, so they just continued. I wrote each of them and said, hey, you still have the money, just use it for something next year and just let us know that it's a different venue or like a different event. And they all got back to me and said, great, we'll just keep our money. So some of them didn't apply this year, which is actually beneficial for people like Brian Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yay. Okay. So back to the list. Is it okay if we fund $1,000 to summer common shows?
I vote yes.
I vote yes.
Okay.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right, great. And how about, what's the other one? Oh, wait. I think there was another one.
So that was, let me just for the record, that was the fourth one, North Andover Youth and Rec Services.
Yes, that's right.
Summer common shows. Okay,
That's
so
right.
I'm creating a spreadsheet that will have to help us out with
Brian,
the financing.
If you want, do you have the application ID? Because I can read that
I do.
if we want to make sure. Okay, just make sure.
I do. That's 46203, right?
Yep.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Mhm.
Great.
Okay.
Anna, was the other one the North Andover Reads?
Yes, that one. Yes, North Andover Reads, which is further down. That's 41843 for $800. Can we fully fund them?
I vote yes, and my comment was I love it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. No, I love that too.
I vote yes
and then
as well.
Okay, great. And then the other one was the Whale Mobile. That's from the Enrichment Council, and they usually ask for funding for one, major event that goes throughout the whole school. So that's 44139. That's for $1,000. I think that was it, right? Isn't that it? Let me see. But let me just double check my notes. Let me see. Yeah, that's the Enrichment Council. Can we fully fund that one too?
So
is that okay?
It is okay. I just want to make sure it's going to go around to all first and second grades. That's pretty good?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and it's usually the Enrichment Council, only asks for one of their many things that they do, and so that's been their practice, is asking for just one of those things and they do 4 to 5, sometimes 6 things for all the schools a year, and they usually just ask for funding for one. So we generally
this is actually proposing that it's a virtual. If I remember correctly in reading this, these are like my old notes. So if I remember correctly, they based on whatever new parameters, whatever, I thought this was now a virtual and not really the Whale Mobile.
The whole thing. Okay, so we can just put that on the back burner for now when we go through all of them, right?
I didn't realize that. That does change how I feel about it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Does anybody else remember? Because unfortunately, I read these through and I'm like reading my notes now, and my notes on this one was, man, I wish it was in person.
I'm going right now.
Yeah,
Let
I'll
me
look
look
it up.
down.
I'm scrolling
Yeah.
to look for it as well.
Yeah,
Yes. These are so. This thing is so huge too. It's like, oh my goodness.
I know.
It was the high school. Oh, what
I
is
know
it?
it's 195 pages, this book.
I know. I'm like, should I?
The problem is it doesn't tell you. We're around page 78. I have found. I don't know if it's the first page of it, but it's around page 78.
Oh yeah, here it is. Here it is. Okay, right. Is this project take in school? Let me see.
Unless I read it wrong.
Yeah, I'm hoping you did, because let's see.
Oh, let's see.
This
Using
used to be a
images-
whole grade assembly, but now offered virtually. I don't know if that means it does both, or is it only doing the virtual now?
Yeah, it says the presentation will be using images, sounds, and videos. World of Wales will be displayed. And then after the presentation, students will have the opportunity to virtually visit the inside of Nile, the life-size humpback whale. So virtual, it would be virtual. Yeah. So why don't, it says virtual, where will the project take place? Virtual or in person?
That's right. So that's what I'm so confused about it.
Well, I think it's got to be virtual right now. But it's the guidance
could be
for
dependent.
schools. Yeah, if the guidance for schools changes and they don't have to abide by the 3-foot rule or the 6-foot rule anymore, then it could be in person. But I that there's just no way of knowing yet when that's going to happen.
Let's leave it so when we go through the other ones, we will make that like an automatic one, which is good. Okay. Can you guys think of any other kind of automatic ones that we usually do? Because the library did not apply this year because they have funding from last year. And I don't believe the senior center applied because they also did. Let me see.
No, but there were a couple that were going to be targeted for the senior citizen homes and the long-term care facilities. So it wasn't necessarily the North Andover Senior Center.
Right.
But
so we can deal with that as we go through. So we don't have any of the kind of like the stock groups, any more of those. Can I now go over ones that we can say no to? Is that okay? Okay. Yeah. Does anyone have any other additional feedback before I move to the no's?
Oh,
no.
Wait, Anna, I'm sorry. I have a question. This is Stephanie. Are there two Stephanies?
No, you're the only one. You're
I thought I overheard someone else say Stephanie. Is the North Andover Merchants Association a standard one?
No, that's actually brand new. They had the North Andover Farmers Market, and I think then they're a larger umbrella organization. The Merchants Association started this year, so they're new. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just curious because when I read their grant application, I've never been to that fall thing on the Common, but I see. I guess I have actually, but I didn't. But the Fall Festival is like an existing program, right?
Right, isn't it? I think it always was, yeah.
Is it the one that's the same day as the sheep shearing?
No, no, because sheep shearing's in the spring.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anyway, I'm sorry. I wondered if it needed to be pulled out as a standard one, a standard applicant, but you're saying no.
Not yet. Not yet, because that's like that's a new one this year. Even though I really like it, but yeah. So there were several that I thought were kind of no's, and I can give you the reasoning for it. You can just say, no, you're wrong, But the very first one, the Duo Pianist, the location it says that it's an onset. There's no venue, and one of the criteria we have listed in our, on our website is the venue has to be in North Andover, whether it's virtual or not.
Voted no.
Yeah, and they did, even though it says that it would be on cable and online, but in the past when we've gotten things like out of town that are trying to do something in town to get money for, they usually have like a letter that they've already worked it out with that group, you know. So like I would have liked to see a letter with the cable company to say that yes, if this happens, we will air it, you know.
They didn't correspond with NCAM to co-sign as a host. So,
right.
So is that okay with everyone that that's a no?
So
Yes,
one
I voted
comment
no.
before you decide that, Anna, I did think
Okay.
that the application was very thorough. And
Mhm.
of course, it was a small number of folks in terms of reach. So I'm hoping
Yeah.
if they apply in the future, they could address that as well as take the advice that Brian just mentioned.
Do we provide
Right.
feedback when we give
Yes.
a no? Do we say, hey, based on our criteria, it's normally local, here's some things, you know, thought this was good, but we'd need you to broaden outreach and get X, Y, and Z if you wanted to apply again to be considered?
Yes, we do. We do that. So in fact, I'm writing down what Brooke is saying. What was the thing that you just said, Brooke?
So I was impressed with their thorough application, but their
Mhm.
reach was actually quite small considering what they were attempting to do. So is there a
Yeah.
way that they could promote it better? How do we get more than 100 viewers? I'd love to
Right.
see them reapply.
Okay. So it's a very thorough application. Your reach needs to be larger, and also you need to have a local venue. That would be our feedback for them, right?
Right. Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. The other one, I'm going to scroll down, but the I think it's the Museum of Printing. Let me see, because it's a Haverhill group. Hang on a second.
But don't they support field trips from North Andover to there?
Yeah, they
Yes.
do. It was weird that they didn't apply to any other cultural councils like their own. That seemed kind of weird to me, you know. And also, I don't know whether they've actually, that it's absolute that there are people from North Andover. Like, where's your letter from Atkinson or wherever that says that they're going, you know? So I was a little hesitant about that because they didn't apply to any others, including their own, and they didn't, you know, have absolute certification that groups were coming. They just said that people in the past have come, but it doesn't say that there were any this year. But I mean, I don't need to. Well, that's on page. Let's see, on page 49.
And is that the case for both? Because they had two grants, one for 240 and one for 350.
Right.
And
The education program, I for some reason I said no because they didn't indicate that anyone was coming. But then I did give them funding for the celebration of printing. But because they did also. But anyway, we don't need to say no to them if we want to discuss that later. Okay? Is that okay with everyone? If people have objections, it's fine. Is everyone, should we just leave that on the back burner? Yeah, okay, cool. And then there's another one. Maybe I'm just a mean person. The Discovery Museum one, Open Door Connections.
Yeah.
That was an application for funding for free admissions, but it doesn't directly translate to North Andover benefits. It's just free admissions for other just generic people. So I didn't think that.
So I was trying to understand that because I read that and I didn't know if they were trying to say, because if I remember, they gave stats as to how many from North Andover went. I was all in favor if it was, are we funding $300 worth of admission, and these passes, we pick a venue or set of people, or how these go to people in North Andover. I'm a fan of that if we're doing that, but it seemed like they were saying that, but it wasn't 100% clear.
Yeah, I don't think that. Yeah, I was totally looking for the same thing. That's right. Like, how can we benefit? But then it didn't say that. You know, that was the unfortunate problem. Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think
Yeah.
the reach was only 25 people, if I recall. I'm trying
Yeah.
to pull it up now.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
hard because we're not going in order. Well, they're hard to find. I don't.
But
Yeah.
that's right, Brian. The reach was only 25 people. That's what I wrote down. That's why I wrote no.
Right.
Even
And
though
it's
it's a
also-
fine
I think
museum.
the part was, okay.
And does
Okay,
the
go ahead.
public library offer free passes for there like they do for other museums?
I can tell you. Hold on. Stevens. Let's see. I don't know. I'm going to look right now.
Okay. Because many
Yeah.
museums, you can get a free pass through Stevens Memorial Library.
Mm-hmm. If there are objections, I don't need to, say no to them automatically too. But I just thought,
Yeah.
I think it's easier sometimes if we eliminate the ones that have no venue, don't have a large reach.
I'm just trying to read what I read in it that I had a question on, but again, I can't find it in the thing just because we're not in
Oh,
order.
it's
So I'm
okay.
trying to find it in the middle of the thing.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's on page 122, I believe.
Just
120.
for Stevens does not offer the Acton Discovery Museum.
Okay. Thanks for
But-
looking
Yeah.
that up.
But I actually still feel inclined to turn that down myself.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
So let's let Wendy look at it because I want to make sure that, we don't just.
I think it was just one of the programs. I think what I'm struggling with, obviously, because of everything that's going on and what some limitations are, it's just nice that we're helping to support people. I know it's not in town, but getting our folks like venues, somewhere to go outside in public, looking at things. I mean, I think that's one of the things that I appreciated because a lot of other things were very virtual. That
Yeah.
granted, we don't have that, but I did appreciate that we're providing some, passes and things to broaden people's culture, even though it doesn't happen to be in our town. But I was more only a yes if these passes were going specifically to North Andover.
Yeah, I don't think they are going. I'm just reading it. It's not going specifically to North Andover. No. Yeah, which would be great. That would be great, but it doesn't. Yeah, but anyway,
And I think but to me, that would be some feedback. If that's the thing, that's what I would love to say for the feedback.
Yeah.
But it was interesting that it said 48 residents of North Andover visited for free. I just couldn't. Then I was like, well, how did they visit for free last year?
Right.
Yeah.
Are there
Right.
passes somewhere? But I would love to give that definitely some feedback for in the future. Because again, whether that's a field trip that we could support or something like that, I just.
Yeah, that's great.
It wasn't
That's
in my yes pile. It was in my question pile.
Right.
Yeah. So should we say
All right.
no or?
Yeah,
Should we
we
say
can
no?
say no for we can say no
Yep.
for now, and then if we want to
I'm
come
fine
back.
with no.
Okay.
The other one that I had. Oh, are you still going, Anna? With your notes?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Brass connections, which is further down, like it's three below open door connections. And I think the reason I had is no venue and only 15 people are served, and they're only brass players, which is kind of really limiting. So
Right. Is that Andrew Harms?
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Agree as well.
Anyone have any objections? I want to give everyone a chance.
Yeah, no, my question was just back again, is this taking specific students in North Andover? And I know the reach is small, but we didn't have tons of choices. It's not in my yes pile. It was in my maybe pile.
Yeah.
But I know, again, reach is small, get it. I just wish there was more things like that in our list. I think I struggled with what was in the list.
Yeah.
Yep, no, it's fine.
We actually do have brass instructors starting in 3rd grade. People just don't take advantage of them. That's it. And we have an elementary band program that's only, I think, $200 a year. One one afternoon or morning a week plus an all band practice on Friday mornings, and people don't take advantage of that. So if you're a brass player, you've got a huge resource starting in third grade, but people just don't do it, you know? So I kind of don't want to fund some other person who's exclusively going to only play for like the 15 people, you know? When we've got
I totally get it. I think that's all I'm saying is I'm making note of these things that why don't we have, to your point, I don't know, if they're having trouble getting people in our brass program, maybe these are things we should think about pushing, or whether you call it funding a scholarship, etc. So I'm just taking notes. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm fine with the no.
When my kids, when my kids were in the elementary band program, I would send the blurb to everyone I knew and said, you should really take advantage of it. People just didn't like getting up in the morning.
We did it. We were with Mr. No on Friday mornings.
Yeah. Okay. See, right? 7:15. This is the rehearsal. Right. Okay. And then the other one that I had a question about was the Drake at Arts.
Yeah, but me too.
That said not local. I said no on that because it was not local.
Yeah.
I agree.
And I was going to say we should give them, I actually did call them because it seemed like what they had was so great, and I went to their website, and all of their information, even though it's open to communities outside Drake-It, is advertised and shown only in Drake-It, right? And they had this like really great competition, but we don't know it. So I called them and I said, all the stuff that you do on your website, it's really great. Like even these competitions that are open to everyone. So they said, they actually tried to advertise on NCAM, but they need a local person, someone who lives here, to file an application for them. So I said, I will do that for them as a local person. I went down and I think I spoke to the wrong person. Because the person who's actually filming this right now wasn't there, and the person who was there said, "Oh no, you can't file that because you already have our membership," or something like that. So I'm going to actually go get the appropriate paperwork and submit it for Drake at Arts. So I did tell them that, and then next year they can actually claim that they advertised in this town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that I already did feedback to them saying, hey, when you start advertising in North Andover and giving all these opportunities to North Andover people, hey, then reapply. I mean, is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very nice of you to do that. Yep.
Yeah, I remember they applied last year. That's why. And it was the same issue.
Yeah.
So then I thought, hey, you know what? I better just communicate that. So, all right. So far, I'm just working down that kind of table of contents. The 2021 Summer Common Shows is approved. I think the Open Door Connection we're saying no to, which is further down. Then North Andover Reads we are fully approving. Brass Connections we are saying no to. And Drake at Arts, we are saying no to, but we are going to give feedback to all the people we say no to. Okay?
We said no to the Duo Pianist.
Oh, we did say that? I thought that was like up in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was no.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a no? Okay. Okay, so now that we know some definite no's and some definite yeses, let's work our way down the other applicants. Is that okay with everyone?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just scrolling down our 128-page book. Let's see. Oh my God, that's so long. You're so right, Brooke. It was so thorough. So the first one is the Indian dance at Weir Hill.
Right.
Right. Did anyone have any feedback about that? Because I took some notes.
Well, I should listen.
I would personally love to fund this. I love the idea of using part of North Andover as a backdrop for some sort of cultural activity. I think she put in her application that the goal was to experience North Andover in a new way. So I think that is a great vision, and it seems
Yeah,
like a nominal fee.
Yeah, right. I actually liked it too. I was thinking she should contact NCAM so that it can be filmed too. Up there. Yeah. And
I liked it, but I certainly made a little comment that they spelt it wrong. That bugged me a little bit. Not gonna lie.
Oh, Weir Hill.
Which one? Oh.
I'm not gonna lie. Bugged me a little bit. I'm not gonna pretend like it didn't.
You're right. They did. I think they did say they had a sponsor too, which was good.
Well, so my thing is, can you have an event at a trustee's property without their permission? Does she have their permission? Is that even a big deal?
Yeah, that's true.
I actually want to fund it, but I feel like is this something? Is it clear that the public doesn't like that? It's people watch it or it's filmed. I thought
it was filmed. It wasn't live, as I understood it. It wasn't live. It was a video. And why do I feel like this video might have had to do with senior centers or something? I'm trying. They're all. It was so long ago that I read all these.
Yeah, I know it was, wasn't it? Well, it looks. We will film. I conducted the experiment. Oh, it inspired me. Okay. Yeah, I think it is film, and that they said they were going to reach out to share a link of the event. I was thinking, it's such first of all, you're right. Do they have permission? But I was thinking they don't need a lot of money, so I was thinking 150 as opposed to 250, because that would be enough for like them to get up there and film it. Do you know what I mean?
Get up the hill.
Well, I watched a video of it. I watched a video of her doing it on this, like, doing a really nice dance on a sort of a rocky cliff. Mm-hmm. And it would actually be very meaningful to have something like that in a North Andover space.
Yeah.
But it would
I
have
thought the North Andover publicity, lack of a better term, I just thought was really good. Is it something that can be used at meetings, events, other things to be showing? Like, is it something, I almost would say, well, once you do that, can we use it through our cultural council of events that we have? Do we have, I don't want to say rights to it, but can we, if we fund
permission
it,
to
can
use
we,
it.
permission to use it? I would be in favor if we had permission to use it.
Okay. Yeah, let me write that down. So I have a question. I have two questions for her. Do you have permission from the trustees, and do we have permission to use your video through the North Andover Cultural Council? Right. Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a very unique. I think it's a very unique idea, and I really do like the idea.
I think we should fully fund it and count it as a yes at the moment, and then worry if there's issues with it, because it's so small, it doesn't massively impact what else we'll fund.
Right.
Okay, so yes for now, and then we'll decide the funding. Okay. The Northeast School of Ballet. Oh, they're actually kind of a regular too. They're a regular applicant too. Let's see. That's on. I think it's on page.
I voted no on that. Do we normally
23.
say yes?
We normally say yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I voted for partial funding. Like I was thinking partially.
Yeah. I think I have also voted for partial funding because it's towards, because they've already done it. They've already done their virtual production, and they do have a lot of students in North Andover. And they also already offered a free link to North Andover community members. So they did do outreach.
Remind me again then what the money is for, because my thing is it's just the virtual playing. I'm not sure what, I can't remember. Maybe I got to find it again, scroll down.
So half of the budget was actually listed as salaries. And that was one of the questions that I had, is what was the detail behind that?
I think that's why I voted no.
Okay. So that was my thought as well.
Yeah. Oh, it's page 24, by the way.
Thank you.
I think it was
600 was salary. Yeah, 5,600 was salaries. 5,000 was supplies, for a total of 10,600,
Uh-huh.
and
They're only asking for
1,000.
1,000.
So are they getting? Did you read somewhere? You seemed to say this before. That did you go and look to find out that somebody asked for funding somewhere else? Like, I wonder if they spread it out and ask for like $1,000 for everybody in the area, and we're just doing our part.
Yeah, a lot of people do that.
They applied to Reading Cultural Council. It's below all of that financial stuff. They say we also. Did you apply to other places? And they also applied to Reading.
Yeah, that's right. There it is. Thank you. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. I guess I'm like, there was the other one where it's like, hey, are you going to help people in North Andover? This one, I know that just because I happen to know that this is the only ballet in town. It's not North Andover School of Dance, but it's the only ballet in town, and that they do actually have North Andover kids in it. But I don't mind saying no. I'm totally flexible. I just said partial funding because of whatever, because all the arts, are struggling. That's all.
I'm good with a partial fund.
Yeah. I said partial fund too. Do we want to say 500 now and then maybe revisit it after we get through the list?
I'd be up for 500. I put down 500 also.
That makes sense. And then if we find there's something else that's really pressing that we feel like, then we can or we have extra money. I would say I'd be in favor of doing that tentatively at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be great.
All right.
Plus, the target age group is really nice, 11 to 18-year-olds in terms of participants.
Yeah. All right. The next one is the one that we already said yes to, the youth services summer thing.
Yeah.
And then the next one after that is, let's see, it's on page 42, the New England Classical Singers. And I think I see.
What number is that? What's the name of that or number? My spreadsheet I just wrote differently than.
Oh, it's called New England Classical Singers. It was the fifth one.
Yes, and it's Creative Alliances, Keeping Arts Alive.
There it is. Thank you. That's the name I was looking for. My question is this a non-local? That was the big thing that I voting a little more on the no side because it wasn't local. But if there's more information you guys have that they cover local more. Local. Okay.
Yeah, they are definitely local. Yeah, there's two choral groups. There's the Andover Choral Society, which is basically has membership from like all over Merrimack Valley. And then the New England Classical Singers is like a chamber choir, not more elite, but like, people who are better musicians who can sing, in smaller groups rather than an entire choral society. And I think you have to audition for that one too. So they are.
Your idea when you say local, so I understand, when you say local, what does local mean to you?
It means that they have members from North Andover and also perform in the North Andover and Merrimack Valley region,
This group definitely has a lot of North Andover members. For sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. And that's just not clear to me in the application, so that's information I don't have. So thank you.
Same for me as well. So that's super useful. And another question that I had is it talks about collaboration with LHS Girls Ensemble. Are we familiar with who that might be?
That's Lawrence High School.
Oh, Lawrence High School. Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. So I like that too,
Yeah.
I would do a partial then based on the other things we said, but I mean, where you have the North Andover High School choir, like if we're in this, hey, if we have local people, we want to partially fund, but it doesn't live and breathe here. Some of their partnership with Lawrence, that doesn't mean anything, but I mean, to me, this would be another one I'd partial fund, and because if there are other things that are absolutely local, I'd rather save money for that.
Okay, cool. Can we say 600? Can we say 600 partial?
Let me just say, they're asking for 1,200. Yeah, so I would say 600 right now.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, all right. Partial. I'm gonna write partial. Okay. Then, oh yeah, so the next one is the one that I had actually said no to, but I think some people thought maybe we should, so I didn't say no to that. And that one is the Museum of Printing one, right?
Right.
I think I said, also, I think my reason was no, because they didn't apply to any other cultural council, even though they are in Haverhill. And they also didn't cite a specific school that is bringing a group to them. And so I'm wondering,
that was my question to it. That was my question to it. If it was for a, we had a field trip specifically, the only thing they wrote is we are asking for 240 to provide free admission to the museum for K-12 North Andover school group, covering 30 students.
Actually, on page 28, they say the Museum of Printing is also applying for field trip admission grants to Haverhill, Boxford, Andover, Lawrence, and Lowell.
Right.
But I agree, they do not say they applied to the Haverhill Cultural Council specifically, and they don't say they don't have any specific things set up with any school.
Yeah.
Am I reading the wrong one? On page 51, doesn't it say like?
I'm on 20. They have two. I'm on 28.
Oh, you must be you must have printed double-sided or something. Did you do that? Maybe. Because I'm not on page 28.
It's 51, right? Who's ever doing the other thing?
Right. And please reading. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And the sentence, like I said, it says this is for free admission for K through 12 North Andover.
Right, for a school group though, but they don't say that they have a school group, that's the problem. Like if they said we have confirmed with Atkinson.
For a specific school. Oh, okay. Because I would support this very much so. Again, I just like what we're teaching with this kind of stuff instead of everything virtual and phones. And there was actually printed word prior to everything else.
Yeah. Because it's unclear, you will even have an opportunity to use these funds for a school trip that isn't booked, while some of these other applicants have things that are booked, in our elementary schools. Like Atkinson school is booking someone to do something, And this one is like, if at any point in the future a school group would be interested in coming, we'd like money for it. But it's like you didn't have a school, you don't have one, and there's no guarantee that you will in COVID. So it's like, why are we giving you this money to book a full field trip that you didn't really book yet? I guess maybe that's my issue. Even though I had no problem with their other application, funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, but I'm fine. I'm flexible.
No, I mean, again, if this is one of these, we'd have to say, come back next year, I guess, when you reapply, have it lined up with a particular school, and this is what you're asking us to fund.
Right. I agree with that.
Right. Because one of our guidelines is you need to have it booked with something. You need to have a venue. You need to have it booked with someone, like the library frequently has programs, but you need a letter from Stevens Memorial Library saying I booked it. You can't just say I will eventually, and this is one of those I will eventually applications. Right. Okay. All right. So is it okay? You should book. Okay. Is that okay if we don't fund this grant of theirs?
Yep.
Any objections?
No, but I definitely want to give them those feedback because I really like it, but I definitely want to give the feedback.
Right. It's funny too, because I never heard of them. I wish that I knew more about them because I didn't know that there was one in Haverhill. I didn't even know this. Weird.
It's our Museum of Printing. It moved.
Oh,
right. It's the one.
That one? Okay.
Yeah, it's the one that was right by our church, Anna, I think. But they
moved.
moved.
Right. I didn't know they moved to Haverhill though. That's like I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But the next one from them, I actually do like. I don't know if anyone has any feedback about that.
Which one is this?
So the virtual celebration printing,
Okay.
yeah, which is also from them too. Yeah. And I think that is on page 60, on page 60.
Mhm.
Mhm. So it's 6 different Zoom virtual sessions programs highlighting the collections, artist equipment history, and printing processes.
Yeah, I'm okay with funding it.
Yeah,
I'm not
and I
gonna
was
lie.
thinking,
I'm okay with funding it, but I'm like, is anybody gonna? I mean, like, what are we doing with this thing? Once we make it, like, is someone gonna actually log in and look at this? Or again, I would have liked to have. Hey, I hooked up with these North Andover schools, and they've agreed that during one of their lessons this year, whatever it is, you know what I mean, and they're gonna show it as part of the curriculum.
right.
That
I
was my
know.
struggle, right? I don't think it's a bad thing, but I'm just like, I don't know. Let's be honest. I mean, is somebody tuning in, some teen, some 14-year-old looking this up, watching this? I don't mean to say that, but I'm just trying to be like, again, would love to do it if I felt like there was going to be a definite audience to see.
Audience, right?
Yeah.
That's
Maybe they'll,
my side
they're
note.
going to advertise and stuff. I mean, what about partial funding, like 200? Because they don't really need to they don't need a lot of money to do this because it's via Zoom, but what do you guys think? Brooke and Stephanie, do you have any feedback?
So I guess, okay. So as Anna knows, I'm the local history librarian for the town of Andover, and printing is a huge piece of Andover history. Not so much North Andover history, but Andover history. And I agree, it's not stated clearly that this would be like a hands-on, like practical educational opportunity. I mean, it's not. It's virtual, but I want so much to support them. Actually, I really do. I really want to support them, and I don't understand. Since I'm new to this committee, how do we just say come back next year, or do we say this is? We're not their program managers. I guess I don't really understand. Like, for instance, and I know our North Andover Historical Society has a very specific publication in mind that will have probably great outreach. But what the printing museum is suggesting is very vague. So I
think they're saying 6 programs that would basically show the new setup, because they moved, and so the 6 Zoom programs that people could look at, right? That's what I was thinking. Like, that wouldn't cost a lot. So if we gave like 200, which is kind of a token, it's kind of acknowledging, we do think that there's value in your museum. So here we are giving you something, something like that.
Absolutely.
What do you guys think? I mean, is that okay? A yes, partial?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that, but I would love to. It's kind of where I said before. I like the actual support the museum with the admissions for them to be live more. But it's like in both of these, it's more. We're not their program manager, but I'd love to give some real advice where we'd love to support this, and next year we'd be more likely to do a lot more funding if you had this lined up and this was going to be this. I mean, but if we think, I agree that this is a very important situation. So if we want to keep it going and do our part, I think we do fund it. But I do think we make a point for just saying, in the future, in order to get continued funding or even, expand your funding, we've got to be a little more prescriptive about what we're doing.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
I would agree with that too.
Yeah. I would also support the Museum of Printing over the Discovery Museum, because the Museum of Printing. Yeah. Right, because the other one, they've got the entire whatever area.
Yeah.
Museum of Printing is so small and is specific to our locale.
Right.
Okay. And then the next, okay, cool. Then the next one
Oh, wait,
is.
So 200 is the answer on that one?
Oh, yeah, 200. Is that okay? 200?
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yep.
Because it's like a token, but, at least it acknowledges them. So the next one is Spotlight Playhouse. What did I think about that?
That one's a yes, but I also, wasn't it completed in this one though? They had to get the money. I thought this was already done.
Yeah.
This is the one that was done but it does need to come out of the 2021 budget.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it was. So it's kind of like a moot point because
but it has to. I just mean it's a yes. It's a given yes.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Right. This was the one that I had to give 500 reminders to hand in their paperwork, and they never did. And then so now they're just kind of reapplying for the paperwork that they never got. They never did. So I was thinking this is just a yes, right?
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. For the whole 300, right? Because that's what we had originally given them, then took back, and now we're giving it again. Okay. Great.
Yep.
Okay. Fall Festival. That one is, it's so funny. They do the Spotlight Playhouse does this intricate thing. Why didn't they just send in that one sheet I was begging them for? It's so absurd. Anyway, I even practically filled it out for them. Okay, so North Andover Merchants. This is a big chunk of change.
Yeah, this was the
I'm
most
all
expensive.
for it though. I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm.
I said yes, all in.
Yeah,
all in. 3,100.
But
that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I said yes, partial funding, but I don't have a figure in mind. But the 3,100 is a lot.
Yeah,
it's a very worthy event. I had a maybe on this one. I wasn't sure what this would look like in a pandemic scenario.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was meant to cover the entertainers themselves.
Right.
But it is a very worthy event.
I love it too. I said yes, 2,500. I said yes, 2,500, which is kind of a partial, but a lot of money. That's a lot of our budget,
yeah.
Well, I mean,
when you do the math from a lot of stuff, though, we can cover a chunk of change of it, is my guess, when all is said and done. Yeah. But I'm happy if we start with the 25, at least for the math things that I've been doing and the things that we probably said yes, no, blah blah blah. But I just think it's really important. We've been talking about. I mean, this actually takes place in our town, outside, lots of people seeing it. It's the stuff we want to be doing in our community to bring people together.
Right.
So that.
No, I love it too. So could we tentatively say yes, 2,500, and then if we can add more money or something later, that would be good?
Yep.
Yeah. And I think Brooke is right. If it doesn't happen, then we can just transfer their money to the next year, and hopefully they would be able to do it the following year,
Right.
Right. And then they wouldn't have to apply for funding because they would have already had their money from this year. So that'd be great. Okay, that's great. 2,500. And then the North Andover, this is the Whalemobile thing that is now virtual. Remember, this was normally.
We said yes.
Yeah. Oh, did we say yes?
Didn't we say yes? I thought we said yes. Did we?
Oh, I thought someone had an objection, but I'm not sure. Did someone, because it was virtual, they were tentative about it? I thought that was the case.
I was a little tentative, but everybody was somewhat convincing, so I rolled with it.
Oh, cool. Okay, yeah.
I didn't know if anybody else was. Was there anybody else who was tentative? I thought maybe it was just me.
Oh, okay. The Enrichment Council is amazing, and on a normal year, they are amazing. They do so many things for the school, so it's kind of almost
I don't know about the council as much, so that's newer to me. That was information I didn't have, so that was helpful.
Yeah, they're great. And actually, Aya is like my twin. She's like the Japanese version of me. I'm Korean, and everyone thinks we're the same person. And they're always thanking me. I know someone's gonna be like, Thank you so much for that whale mobile. And now it's been so many years. I just say you're welcome. I just say you're welcome because I can't even bother. Okay. Oh, great. So the next one is Atkinson Elementary School, and I think that's on page. And this one is the Brilliant Ice Sculpture, right?
Right.
I want them to do this at our school.
Aw.
It
yeah.
sounds really neat.
It
And
sounds
it does.
so awesome for kids. I
Yes.
think they would love it. And I'm like, I just want them to, why can't they do it here too?
Yeah, I know. I liked it too. I mean, so this would be an example of like, remember how the Museum of Printing was said, oh, we want to get some school group. This one is like, they booked it. This thing is happening, you know, which I kind of love. So.
And a quarter of the funding is already coming from teacher and staff donations. So that's a very motivated group right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
So
it
what do
did
you
say
guys-
that it did say due to COVID-19, no artists have been booked to come to the school this year, and we're not traveling on any field trips. There's a dire lack of artistic excitement and exposure for the kids this year. So their thinking is an outdoor sculptor will provide an interesting look at an unusual, albeit temporary art form. So I just loved how it was like, we can't go anywhere, we can't have anybody in, but this can be done like outside, and you know, kids can be spaced apart and all that kind of stuff so that it can be safe.
Dude, this guy lives here. Why can't we get him to do it in the common? Let's just call him.
We could still enjoy it. You just have to drive by Atkinson.
Right.
So what do you guys think about this one?
Yeah, I like the grant.
I had a yes for this.
Okay,
Sure.
like a fully funded or like partial funded?
I was thinking 500, but
I had
500
full
sounds-
only, but 500 I could go with that too.
Okay.
I would do
We'll do
a
that.
partial and
Okay.
say, but you have to come here next year.
well,
Yeah, right. You have to go to Wendy's house. You have to do it on her lawn.
I just think it's such a cool kid for the, like, something for kids to see, but even people, I'm like, I'd like to see this guy doing this, or like to see
that's
some of these
cool.
final things. I mean, these are such big things that people go to in Boston. I mean, it's just such beautiful artwork that I'd love to give some feedback on how do we get it local. But I'm,
Right.
I'm in for the partial
Can we
funding.
give that feedback that we would like it to be more central to
Okay.
like in the common or?
well,
Okay.
yeah, but I don't know if people would go in like that would be my only fear. Like when it's at a school, like you know, like the Atkinson school, for example, you know, you've got the audience right there, and nobody has to go, so it's going to hit a whole bunch of those kids in North Andover.
I just mean in the future. I mean in the future.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And he comes back. Yeah.
Whether the common or, to your point, Brian, a school. Why? I mean, we got plenty of elementary schools, other things that are pretty, you know, places people can see it.
This guy is coming to a school. It's through the Atkinson Elementary School. He is coming.
No, but
to
I
the
meant a
school.
North Andover school.
No, that is a North Andover school.
Yes.
Yeah, and Atkinson is a North Andover school, and it's actually right next.
No
to
wonder
the,
why I got lost, because I wrote a big positive yes and said all 750, and then I totally forgot that it was. I'm like, oh, why doesn't anybody want to fund it? And I'm like, maybe because it's not local, and I read that wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and it's actually next to the preschool and the middle school. So it's
I vote for all 750. My vote is for all 750, but I'm happy with the 5. I'm back to my 750 originally.
Yeah. No,
I'm happy with the 5.
Okay. Okay, so we'll do 500 tentatively, and then, you know.
Okay.
Okay, North Andover High School. This is on page 92. I am going to exclude myself from this conversation because I am really, really like tied. I mean, I'm the one that like told Ms. Durkin, hey, you know, you should apply. So I don't think it's appropriate that I say anything in this conversation. So I'm going to like go to the bathroom and come back. Okay. You guys talk about the high school one. Okay.
All right.
I actually had a yes for full funding for this,
Me
only
too.
because we did have a student go up through the high school. He's in college now, so not currently part of the ensemble, but it is literally hundreds of kids who are impacted very favorably. It's a great group, so definitely wanted to be supportive of this if we could.
I had
have to
yes
say-
full funding.
I had yes full funding, and I do have a son in the marching band. He's not in the chorus, but I think the music program at North Andover High is tremendous, and yeah, I think it has very broad impact.
Yeah, I agree. My son was also in it when he was in high school and just loved it, and it was a very good experience. So I am in favor as well. All right, so I'll add that to my spreadsheet.
So what you guys?
Brian, since we're on a break, how are we doing?
I'm
How's our
good.
total?
I'm good. So we are
No, the
down-
total.
all right, we're down to $703 left.
Oh crap! Okay. Wait. So what did you decide about that?
We decided on full funding for that.
Oh wow. Okay. Wait. How much money? Really? I would have done partial. Okay. Let's see. The musical video DVD for seniors, I think, is
Right.
the next one.
Yeah, Denise Doucette, it said. I had partial funding.
Me too.
in
Right.
my
Because she
notes.
said, she got a venue. She got yes emails from Edgewood and Sutton Hill. Though I don't
Right.
think it would. Yeah, I don't think it would cost that much for a DVD. So maybe like partial.
Yeah, I said partial.
I
in my
had a
notes.
partial.
How much do you guys think?
Like 500.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
All right. Maybe even less. How much does it even cost to make a DVD and then give it to someone,
Right.
I think
Yeah.
Anna, I think she was providing the equipment around the DVD. So that was the cost driver.
Right.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
we,
It's great that she's trying to reach seniors. I'm really glad to see an application
Yeah.
there.
right. Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I mean, if we give it 500 though, then we're down to $203 left, and we have a number.
So let me
of
say this. Should we just go
grants left.
through everything, then look at the total, and then
Yeah.
read back through?
Yeah,
You know what I
then
mean?
shave
I think
off.
maybe
Yeah, we could do that.
Because we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. That's not that many. Okay. So then we have. I bet we could do it. So then we have cheeseburger. And did you all get my email? He emailed me separately saying, "Oh, we actually," because first I said no, but then now they do have a venue all of a sudden.
Right.
Because he
The
emailed
middle
me.
school.
Right. Mhm,
well,
the
it looks
middle
like a
school.
return visit, right?
Yeah.
Did I read that appropriately, or was it like a return? Like that, it wasn't just, hey, I have a venue, but I thought the person said it was awesome last time, and we really want them back. That's what
Right.
did I read
That's
that
how.
wrong?
Yeah, that's how I read it as well, Wendy.
Mhm.
From the
What did he
principal.
say?
Right.
Yeah. Official letter from the middle school. Okay. Right. Bring Jesse Green back to NAMS. Yeah, the middle school didn't
Doctor.
apply for anything, Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Because I was thinking maybe 250, half of it,
I said at least a partial funding. I watched a little video of it and all that. The kids looked really into it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, partial. Okay.
Yeah.
So then the next one we said no to, I think, so we can skip that. And then, so the next two we've already decided. Open Door, we don't need to do. And North Andover Reads, we already said yes to, so we can kind of go through those. So the next one is, oh my God, this is like my favorite. Musicians of the Merrimack Valley, the Andover Choral Society one. I really love this one because it was like including everyone. This is on page 134. Page 134. But what do you guys think? Because they're including 10 local choruses in the Merrimack Valley to be part of this choral production. That's like so great. I love that.
Right.
But anyway, what do you guys think about this? Because I personally wanted to fully fund it, and I was surprised they didn't ask for more. But anyway.
Were any of them? I mean, I happen to know a lot of people in a couple of these, but were any of them North Andover? I don't remember any of them, unless they're. I don't know what some of them are. There's a couple I don't know where they're from, but I don't remember any of them being specifically North Andover.
That was my read too. I think it's a very worthwhile ensemble, but it seemed less local relative to other things that we had.
Okay. Yeah, I think Voices of Hope have their offices in Lawrence, but I know a lot of people in North Andover sing with them. But that's also the North Shore, actually. Spotlight Playhouse, I think they already applied for something. They're the ones that never responded. Third Baptist Church of Lawrence has a strong partnership with North Parish. We do a lot of joint concerts with their chorus, and they don't have much funding at all, but they're Lawrence, like you said. And Treble Chorus is in Andover at the West Parish Church in Andover. They're based there. New England, what is that one? NECN? I don't know what that is. Free Christian
New England Classical.
New England Classical Singers. Okay, yeah. So it seems like there's a lot of the people who applied for us already, and then the other ones are in Andover, right? Acting Out is in Lawrence. Mm-hmm.
I could maybe say a partial of like 200. I mean, I'd love to see where we end up with all our dollars, but to me, maybe something like that.
Okay.
That's just me. I don't know what other people want to say about it though.
Yeah, I know a lot of people in many of these groups, but I'm totally fine with whatever everyone wants. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, does anyone, Stephanie or Brooke, did you want to say anything about this too?
I feel the same. I know a lot of people in a lot of these groups, and even if they're not headquartered in North Andover, I think the people watching and appreciating the concert will definitely be a lot of people in North Andover. So I think, I don't know, $300 or $400.
Yeah. Okay. What about you, Brooke?
Yeah, like I mentioned, this one felt slightly less local to me in relation to other applications. So it was lower on my list, but I do think it's a very worthwhile endeavor.
Okay. Should we say 300? Is that okay for now? 300?
I like that.
Okay. Yeah, because I was like 500 and then it was 200. So maybe we can do an even split. Okay. Then Brass Connections is next, and we said no to that. Let's see. Yeah, I wish more people. Stephanie, don't you think that's true? I wish more people did take advantage of that elementary band program, you know? Oh, wait, Brooke, your son also did it too, because he played.
He did. Absolutely. Yeah. Great experience with that.
It was such a good experience, and like no one did it. It was crazy. Oh, finally, Brian's really asleep at this point, but
I'm here.
Oh, good. So then we have 3 in a row, right? Is that right? Wait, 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, here it is. Okay. So you have the digital copy stand and camera, and then the town map guide, and then the Andover witch trials one, the 3 in a row. Because I think we said to Drake it that we were going to say no. So I think the digital, so it's 940 for the first one, then 306 and 213 for the other ones. What did you guys think about the digital copy stand?
So important. Yes.
Agree.
I say yes to that.
I gave it a full yes.
I would love to see that.
Okay.
It's about as local and important to us as almost any, probably more than most things on here for historical purposes and such.
Right.
The only question that I actually had, Brian, was if there was another technology that could help you achieve the same result, but not being familiar with this particular endeavor, I wasn't sure. But I'd love to see this happen.
And
sure.
Brian,
Yeah.
I want to introduce myself to you because I live in North Andover, but I am the local history librarian at the public library in Andover. And I have been wanting to meet you anyway, but I do want to know if you are, considering like joining Digital Commonwealth. I know you guys have some collections in Digital Commonwealth. Are you taking advantage of other resources that would do the work?
Yeah. Well, we're getting,
maybe that's offline.
Yeah. Well, we're getting all of this off the ground as far as digitizing our collections, and I'm coming from this having run a county historical society in upstate New York for a dozen years, where we had a very successful in-house digitization effort, and we digitized a substantially larger collection of materials than I'm looking at in North Andover. And most of the digitization can be accomplished with just a standard flatbed scanner. You can get high-res, high-quality scans from that. But for oversized materials, you either have to farm those out, like the Northeast Document Conservation Center, and pay a fairly substantial fee, or you utilize in-house resources. And this copy stand is the in-house solution. And the next best solution then is to farm the work out to an organization that has similar equipment. So we just about a month ago hired a new curator and archivist from the Northeast Document Conservation Center, who's already familiar with digital platforms online and also the digitization process. So this investment would be a tremendous help to us to get this up and running.
I think that's great.
I have a question about the two pieces of equipment, because I like first of all, I really appreciate the fact that you included the pictures, because I didn't even understand.
Sure,
and I personally would be all for the copy stand kit, but is there any way that you can, is it a specific camera, or is it just a really, really nice camera that you could borrow from NCAM, on a regular basis,
Well, just the value.
Oh no, they need their own.
Yeah, the value of having a camera in house is substantial, because then we would have the flexibility to use it whenever was necessary, and we wouldn't be beholden to borrowed equipment. My view is that this is such an important project that we need to make some investments in it up front to achieve the level of digitization that we want to achieve. So I
gotta be straightforward and honest. Like, this is like the fabric of our history and everything that we do. I would struggle with us not funding this. Like, This is how lots of things go behind the wayside. This is just me. Like, I don't think they should have to either borrow or farm out. Like, if we're really talking about capturing more, I mean, not even just from a historical perspective, but I gotta assume like some of this stuff will be, as we do more of these events, everything we do will start to become historic, and we will want to document and do all of the, I don't know.
I'm excited. I think it's great. I say full funding.
Yeah. And not to be such a naysayer, but the one other thing that is not exactly correct, but normally we don't fund equipment, but there was a sentence written in this year, because I got clearance from Mass Cultural Council, that if you needed equipment for COVID-related issues, then that was okay. And this isn't exactly COVID-related, but it doesn't really bother me, but I'm just like putting that out there, It's equipment related, but it isn't necessarily specific to COVID related equipment, which was the sentence in our description, but it's not that big a deal enough to me because I know it's a great project, you know?
I do think it
Yeah.
speaks to access, which is really the spirit of that requesting.
Yeah.
I'm ready to walk the fine line on this one. I'm ready to walk it. I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's a major priority for us, is ensuring that we spread access to our collections throughout the community. And there's no better tool in the 21st century than digital access to collections. So that was the genesis of the application.
Right. Okay. I'm good with that too. So then the other two, the town map guide and the Andover witch trials, which are towards the end. I actually really like these too. I wanted to fully fund these because they were not that expensive and very specific about where your money was going to. But what do other people think?
I would support that.
Mm-hmm.
I supported them as well in mine.
Yeah, I did too.
I support them too. I do have a question though. Are these items that will be, maybe it says it and I missed it, will they be available for purchase or will they be handouts or?
Well, right now they are they're slated for bookstore use, but also there's enough copies that are ordered in there that if we have educational programs where they be either handouts to teachers or to to small groups, we certainly would have the volume of copies available to facilitate that.
Great. That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I would like to fully fund both of those. Is that okay?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I'm in.
No. Then we're on our last one. It's jazz to hip hop. Oh, thank you, Brian.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much for representing this. It's so helpful to have this discussion with you.
Mm-hmm.
And welcome to North Andover.
Well, thank you. It's still thanks to the pandemic. It still feels like I just arrived.
Yeah.
And Brian, if you wanted to join the Cultural Council, that would be great too. It would be really, really great. If you wanted to.
I'm certainly.
We need members. Where in upstate New York did you work, Brian?
Utica.
Oh, okay. Yep.
I ran the Oneida County History Center.
Okay.
About 50 miles east of Syracuse, if you're not familiar.
Right. Yep. No, I am. I grew up in Poughkeepsie, and my husband grew up in Plattsburgh.
Oh, okay. My son is actually a junior at Plattsburgh right now at SUNY.
Oh, okay. Good. Yeah. My father-in-law taught there. He was a professor there. Yeah.
Small world. That's
Small
great.
world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you all again very much. Yeah. Our board will be very happy, and I'll pass along the word.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Al.
Okay, cool. The last one is jazz to hip hop. This is one of the other, like Brooke mentioned, the other one for seniors.
Right.
I was all in on this one. It's gonna kill us, but
yeah. Okay, I would like a partial. I thought 300 because I don't know if it would cost that much money. 500. I did like it, but I just was thinking maybe a partial.
Yeah, I said a partial fund in my notes too.
Me too.
Yeah. Did we say 300? Because it's only for the salary. It's just it's for her, or I think her.
Yeah.
I watched a video of it. It actually looked pretty good. So I think at least 300.
Okay. All right. So Brian, what's the damage?
So we are $2,306 over.
Okay. Can you go over from top to bottom, like what we decided? Okay.
Sure. Yep. So the first grant was by Kirk Whipple, and applied for $750, and we are saying granting $0.
Okay.
The second one is Mauli Paul, asked for $250, and we
So
were,
Brian, are you reading the people's names and you're going in order of the project title? Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just trying to. Okay, table of contents. All right, thank you. I just don't have it written down the way you have it, so thank you.
All right, yeah, I'm going in order. Yeah. Would it be helpful if I said the grant number
No,
also?
that's totally fine.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that that's how we were going.
Okay. Ask for 250. We're recommending 250. The third one is Northeast School of Ballet, asking for 1,000, and we're proposing 500. The next is New England Classical Singers. They asked for 1,200. We're recommending, we're proposing 600 right now. The first Museum of Printing.
Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. The summer common shows. You skipped that one. I think we said we were going to do
sorry.
That's 1,000, right?
Yep, North Andover Youth and Recreation Services Summer Concert. Ask for 1,000, give 1,000.
Yeah, okay.
The first Museum of Printing was, they've asked for 240, and we said 0 for that. The second Museum of Printing, they asked for 350. We propose 200.
Okay.
The next is Spotlight Playhouse. They asked for 300. We're proposing 300. The North Andover Merchants Association asked for 3,100. We're proposing 2,500. The North Andover Schools Enrichment Council applied for a $1,000 grant, and we're proposing $1,000. Atkinson Elementary School asking for $750. We're proposing 500. The North Andover High School Music Department is asking for 2,900. We're proposing 2,900. Denise Doucette is asking for $1,150. We're proposing $500. I'm sorry, she asked for $1,150. Yep, that's what I said, and we're proposing 500. Dr. the Machine Jesse Green is asking for $500. We're proposing $250. Discovery Museum asking for $300. We're proposing 0. The North Andover School District for the Reads program is asking for $800. We're proposing $800. The Andover Choral Society is asking for $500. We're proposing $500.
Oh, no.
Andrew,
did we? Oh, wait, hang on a second. Did we? I thought it was a partial. I thought the Andover Choral was 300.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, is that right? Because I think I was the one who was all gung ho for 500, but then we kind of met in the middle, right? Yeah. Okay.
I have 300 as well. In my
Okay,
notes.
sorry. Yep, sorry about that. So let me change that to 300. Okay, so just to recap that, Andover Choral Society is asking for 500. We're proposing 300. Andrew Harms with the brass is asking for 1,200. We're proposing 0. The first North Andover Historical Society grant is asking for 940. We're proposing 940. Drake Arts is asking for 100. We're proposing 0.
Or 1,000.
Oh, 1,000. Yep, we're proposing 0. North Andover Historical Society, the second grant, is asking for $306. We're proposing $306. The third North Andover Historical Society grant is asking for $213. We're proposing $213. And then the music dance for the senior citizens asking for $500. We're proposing $300. So that brings us to $13,359 in our proposal. We have $11,253, and so the gap is $2,106.
Really?
So if I would probably start. I mean, my recommendation is, again, I think we all very strongly support the North Andover High School Music Department. They're asking for $2,900. Maybe we give a partial funding to that to bring that down a little bit, and maybe
I think you're right, Brad. I think we start with the big ones, and we're going to have to go that way.
So I have a different suggestion to make. So looking at the full yeses that we allocated, it looks like it's 7,709. So for the ones where we said yes, and then we said we would come back to the maybes. So maybe we start with that gap and simply just look at the maybes. So for instance, we had a partial for the fall festival for 2,500 out of their 3,100 ask. Maybe we take it that way instead of going with the full yeses.
Oh,
I'm more along the lines of, though, the full, I think our maybes were because we wanted to really fund them, but we didn't think we could afford the full thing. Like, we need a big chunk of change, so, like, the 2,900 to me is where you got to start. Like, that's the, and if we're keeping that, I don't know. Sorry, that's my vote on how to go about this.
Yeah, for the North Andover High School music thing, I'm pretty sure that Ms. Durkin would be grateful for any funding. So I think it's like all the stuff that she wants to get, you know, in order to put on a really good concert in the spring or even in the fall. If she gets 2,900, she's going to use all of it to get, you know, all this stuff. If she gets 2,000, she's going to use all of it to get it. She just won't get as like much stuff, you know. But I think it's not like she would say, darn it, now I can't do it if she doesn't get all 2,900. So I'm just going to say, as her spokesperson, if you wanted to cut some of the funding, obviously I'd want it all, or, you know, Ms. Durkin would want it all. But I don't think she would be overly upset. I think she would be grateful for whatever you gave her, you know? So, right. And I know that they're in the process of trying to get in-person choral singing, and they have this big, like, thing going around all the music departments because of the changing regulations. So anyway, I don't think it would be the end of the world if you did remove some funding from the definite yeses. But I also agree with Brooke too. So, right. One thing that I was thinking of in terms of removing some of the funding from some of the smaller ones is there's some individual applications which I don't think they would necessarily need like a lot of money. And the ones that I kind of put a little check mark to were Mooley, Paul, and like the music dance, because those are just one person acts, you know, and it's only for salary. So I don't know. Those are like piddly ones, though, you know.
But I think the gap we need to close, though, is so big, like it would take us forever on each of these other ones to be like, take away 25, take away 50, or take away these. I just think we have to start with the big chunks and then shave from there. I just don't know how we do it if we try with the little stuff. That's my 2 cents.
Well, what if we do, do the North Andover High School Music Department and do 2,000 for them? I mean, how would people feel? Could
I say, as much as we want to support the fall festival, the chances of getting a permit for a 4,000 person event on the Common this fall, even with lots of people vaccinated, are slim. So I do think that's a great thing, and I want to support local musical groups, and I want to support community gathering. But I suspect, I have a feeling that there may be gathering and things allowed on the Common, but maybe not a 4,000 person event. So I suspect, I mean, my question is, could we bring, if we brought Fall Festival to like 1,900 and North Andover High Music to 1,900, where would that get us where we need to go? I'm not sure.
Let me just see. Hold on. So 1,900 for the merchants and 1,900 for North Andover. We still would be $506 short.
Oh, see, this is where we can do those piddly ones.
But based on what you said, based on your theory of what you said, I'd be for cutting the fall festival in half.
Yeah, I
and
mean, it is a
1900
guess,
for
but I think it's a good
NHS.
guess.
Sorry,
Yeah,
someone-
I think it's a. What does it get us if we went in half on the 31 and 1900 for North Andover High School?
1900 and then
1500 you could say. I mean 1550, but
yeah, all right. So 1500 for the merchants. Yeah, so then we're down to $106.
Okay. So can I advocate for my piddly things for a second?
well, is everybody okay with the other two? Let's lock in on those. Does everybody agree with those two big cuts we made? Because if we don't, we have a very different discussion. Is everybody in on the
Say what it is
1900?
again. Say what it is again for the two.
So it would be for the Merchants Association. It would be they've asked for 3,100, and the grant that we would give them would be 1,500. And then the second one was the North Andover High School Music Department. They've asked for 2,900, and we would grant 1,900.
Okay. I am fine with the North Andover High School music one. I would like to give North Andover Merchants Association some more. And can I do that by making these like piddly suggestions? I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well, I'm back to that whole, if we don't really think they're going to get it this year, and it's not going to happen, I feel like it's worth putting the money somewhere else. And then they have this rollover for when they want to get it another year. Do you know what I mean? Like if they apply again, because the way that we've done it, you get a rollover of what you have this year if you don't use it. Then they get to make up the rest of it in their next year submission.
Yeah.
I'm throwing that out as a.
Yeah, except I don't think we should count that they're not, like, hey, you can just use it. I think if they fully intend to put on this thing that benefits the entire community, I think we should take them at their word, Right. Like if they say that's what they want to do, then we should believe that that's what they're going to do. And then if it doesn't happen, then then they would get it the next year. It seems like such a huge community thing. What they're planning on.
It's a wonderful event. Yeah, it really is. It's a wonderful event. But
I'd rather fully fund the whole thing, honestly. So I'm a.
Yeah, I wish we could. I think it's wonderful, but I definitely think that the likelihood of it getting postponed or adopted in some way is high. So relative to other things that can continue on, that would be where I would put our funding.
Yeah, I know. I kind of hope that I mean, I'm assuming that they will do it. The other thing about the North Andover Merchants Association is they do so many other things too, like their funding. They do all the farmers market is under that umbrella. I think the arts market thing that I think Sally Finnemore used to run in the parking lot outside of Jamie's and stuff. They run that, so there's like a lot of things that if they said, yikes, the fall festival is probably not going to happen, the funds, if they wrote us and said, can we use it for the, farmers market? I would not say no. I would check with you guys, but like, no, you can use it for the farmers market, which I know.
Well, they draw more things even into our community. I mean, look, that farmers market, I got friends coming from all over bringing money into this town to come to that farmers market. I mean, I do think the events they do actually draw some local, non-local commerce in our community. So I'm all for agreed with that.
Excellent.
Right. So this is my suggestion for taking like $400 from some of the smaller ones and adding it to Merchants Association. So if you're looking at that table of contents, I would change Mooley Paul from 250 to 150 because they already have a sponsor, first of all, that other dance company, because that's what they said. They have a sponsor by UPSANA, the nonprofit for the promotion and preservation. So they already have funding, so it's just really for that dancer. So I would be willing to take 150 away from Mooly Paul. I mean, 100, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be willing to take 100 and give her 150. Is that okay? Anyone have any objections?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what are some of your other ideas?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why don't you go through your ideas?
Yeah, and then the other one is New England classical singers. Give them 400 because they it already happened and they've already gotten it. And they, yeah, no.
What is that one actually called?
Creative Alliances. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Creative Alliances Keeping Arts Alive. I mean, I think it was for production
That's the
costs.
600. That's the,
yeah.
You're saying that already happened?
I think that one already happened. Let me see. Or it's for production costs, and so it was kind of like a token amount, you know? Let me look at it. But I was thinking maybe doing 400 for them instead of 600. So that it would be like, yes, here we are. We're contributing something. I know it's not a lot, but it's something, you know?
Okay.
So that was my other suggestion. And then the other one was...
What page is that one on? What page was that one on, the Creative Alliances one, again?
Hang on. Let's see. I'm scanning. Is this one? No, that's the School and Valley. Hang on.
I can find. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's somewhere like 39 or something like that. Hang on. I should have put my the page numbers down here. Okay, 42. So 42. Let's see. So it's an online performance.
Yeah. We have a lot of choral and singing ones. I don't mean to anti-singing because, Brian, you know I like the singers, but of course I'm a dancer. But I just mean when I look at the venues that we're supporting, I am in support of taking, look, let's try to have some dance, some singing, some visual, some educational. I do think we have a lot of, because, I mean, you have the musicians of Merrimack Valley. You know, we have a lot in that space. That I also agree on the Creative Alliances in that one, and/or in the musicians of Merrimack Valley. I like I said, when you look at the different things we have, there's quite a few in that kind of vein of entertainment or art.
Right.
Well, would anyone object to changing it from 600 to 400 so we could give more to Merchants Association?
No.
Yeah, I do not object.
Okay,
do not object.
Okay, cool. And then the last one was Music Dance Study. The last one, that's at the Senior Center. Her salary is, it's just one person, and her salary is that's it. It's just for her salary. So I was thinking if we could do like 200 because it's only for one person to come somewhere. I don't know.
Right.
Then it would instead of 300, and then give that money also to Merchants Association.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
So the Merchants Association total would be, what would that be? The funding?
Well, so then now we would add, so right now we're 294, we have $294 to spend with the recommendations that Anna made.
How are we getting an odd number?
Because one of them is $306 and one is $213.
Yeah, no, I missed that. Never mind.
Yeah, so we could add 294 to the Merchants. Hold on, let me just get that. So 294, and right now I have 1,500 in the slot, so that would give them 1,794.
Yeah, that would make me feel more comfortable.
What were so the Creative Alliances one? What were the other ones that were proposed in the Indian dance one? You also want to take that one down to what?
To 150.
Because it's one dancer and they already have a sponsor through another group. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want to take down the hip hop one to the jazz to
200.
hip hop to 200?
Yeah, 200.
I'm okay with it. I don't know if I'm 100% on it.
Right. Like, what about that Jesse Green for the middle school? I mean, we've said he asked for 500. We've said for 250. What if we give 150? I don't know.
Yeah, except I mean, we're basically giving, and then you mean give like $50 more to one of those other people?
Either that or the Merchants Association.
Mm-hmm. I guess even though they ask for a lot more money, I feel like North Andover Merchants Association the umbrella of how much they would impact with the money is a lot more than the dancer or, even though the other one, the music dances to a senior home, I actually like that. But the overall impact of what they could do with the money, I guess, is what the other, that would be my issue.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think? Anyone have any other strong objections? So, I mean, what is the total?
Your point about impact is excellent. So thanks for making that.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of think that the Merchants Association would do a lot with that money. Even if they didn't do the fall festival, they would actually use it to do
That's
other
a great
things.
point.
Yeah. So what's the total? Are we off at all, Ben?
Well, no, then we're right on target. If we did the suggestion. So can I run down the list again just so we have it? And then if everybody if anybody wants to kind of comment on them, we can. So I'll just go from top to bottom again. This time I'll just read what we're proposing to grant.
Okay.
So Kirk Whipple, 0. Mallee Powell, 150. Northeast School of Ballet, 500. The North Andover Youth and Rec Concerts, 1,000. New England Classical Singers, 400. The First Museum of Printing, 0. The Second Museum of Printing, 200. Spotlight Playhouse, 300. North Andover Merchants Association, $1,794. North Andover Schools Enrichment Council, 1,000. Atkinson Elementary, 500. North Andover High Music Department, 1,900. Denise Doucette, 500. Dr. the Machine Jesse Green, $250. Discovery Museum, 0. The North Andover School District Reads Program, 800. Andover Choral Society, 300. Andrew Harms Brass, 0. North Andover Historical Society First Grant, which was the camera and stand, $940. Drake at Arts, 0. North Andover Historical Society, the second one, $306. North Andover Historical Society, the third one, $213. And the music, dance, jazz to hip hop, $200. So with those grants, we hit exactly $11,253.
Right. Oh, I just noticed it's 8:59. I hope this meeting doesn't close at 9 exactly. Can we?
Well, if it does, good to go. Sounds great. I sign up.
Yeah, I would be like really good with that too. Is that good with everyone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any objections? Any objections?
I was joking, but I think everything is good. I feel very comfortable with what we've done.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I feel really good too. Wow. Okay. So I'll send out the no letters. We have to wait 2 weeks for them to object to them, And then after that, I'll send out the yes letters. And I wrote down all the feedback stuff, so I'll put that into the no letters. Okay.
Yeah.
Is everyone good with
Brian,
that?
if what you've written up, is that something you can send out to everyone? Will we get a copy? Hey, I took notes, but they're scribbly.
Yep, I'll share it. Yep, I'll share it.
Oh, did anyone take really good notes so they could send the minutes? Maybe I could do it. I don't know. Wendy, did you take really good notes? Or are they scribbly?
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, maybe
I'll volunteer for all kinds of things. Notes, not my thing, but I'll volunteer for any other kind of thing you need me to do. Like cartwheels, wear a costume. I'm in.
Yeah, I forgot. Brooke, were you the one who was taking notes, or was it someone else? Was it Gail? I forgot.
I did take them the last few years, yes.
Oh, do you think you could write up some notes, or you're like, oh?
If you had asked me at the start of the meeting, I gladly would have done so, but unfortunately, I did not take minute-worthy notes this time around.
Oh, okay. You know, I wrote some things down. I'll write them down, and then next time I'll just remind you, like, oh yeah, next time do it. Okay, that's cool. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll say the no letters. I will send out anything that I send out. I'll send you guys a copy too of not every single letter, but like an example of what I did, and then I'll send the minutes as well. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm emailing you all a link to the chart that I made with the grant amounts.
Okay, cool.
Just for clarity, are there any next steps? Like what for the rest of us? Is there like anything that we need to be doing or is to be done after this?
Well, in the past, we used to split up like these letters that would get sent and everything, but then it got really confusing. So I'll just do them. But the next steps, if we ever wanted to do, you and I talked on the phone about doing some sort of activity. We do have some funds reserved for something in the spring or the summer, something that we could sponsor. That could be something that the council can brainstorm about. But if any of you want to share that part and figure out something that we could do with our little $200 that we squirreled away for the summer that we could do, that'd be great. Or just from this conversation, think like, gee, we should really advocate for that band program, or we should, get in touch with X, Y, and Z, or the person who did the ice sculpture, maybe he could do it next year for the town. If you wanted to organize or do any of that coordinating, you can also do that as well. Right.
If folks are up for something like that, I am happy to kind of take the lead on organizing and poking back at people like, hey, now we know what COVID things are looking like in the spring and some other things. If people are actually interested, I'm happy to take the lead on corralling folks around then.
Yeah, you should. And just CC us, right? If whatever you're deciding you wanted to do on our behalf, Yeah.
Anybody very interested in that or not?
Yeah, I mean, I would be able to support it and help out with something.
That's all I meant. Yep, just even chatting about it and brainstorming, just any interest. So, okay.
Yeah. I have my hands full with like all of this gross administrative stuff. So if you guys did something, that'd be great. And just keep everyone in the loop. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah. And then Anna, when you're ready to have me do the have the town cut the checks and all that kind of stuff, let me know and I'll fill out all the paperwork for that.
Oh yeah, that probably won't be until like at least the middle of March. So I'll let you know. And then we can have a little meeting or something. Yeah. I have to do the final report too. So, okay. Thanks, you guys. I'm sorry that I couldn't log in. I'll let Jillian know that they need to use another email.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
We could, with Wendy taking on the other extra stuff, maybe we can have another meeting in later spring. Is that possible for everyone?
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yay. All right. Thanks, everyone.
And thank you, Bill, for the technical support. Appreciate that
Yay.
too.
Okay. All right. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.